such a huge net worth of 300 billion plus, why, in your opinion, we cannot pay off our debts, credit cash capital to invest into our own production of steel, timber, oil, and technological ventures so that Liberians retain at least 85% ownership?
Because we're stupid.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
That's
No, let me explain.
No, I mean,
We are stupid.
I just want to make sure.
You have quantifiable net worth of approaching $300 billion in your resources, in your iron ore, your gold, and your forest resources, and you have a debt worth of $4.5 billion, and you're talking about the critical piece of the foundation of the economic policy is debt forgiveness. That's a joke. The critical piece of economic policy should be how do we monetize what we have in the ground? Because there are companies that come here with no money, get tenure, go on the international market, like the alternative index market, they raise money. It's happening now. Right now, there's a company that got in the southeast a plantation. Go to the Indian. This company called EBF is floating stock. They want to raise $15 million using what? Liberian assets. And we have the palm plantation, we have the land, and there is somebody who is a Lebanese man who has over 30 to 40% of that company. We give it to them, Gerald. We give it to them. This is something that we own, and we give it to them and say, here's a piece of paper, you have tenure. Now that's an asset that has value. So they're going to London and going to raise 30 million pounds, Gerald. When you and I can write a business proposal that can raise a single amount of money and we can own it. And what do you think is going to happen? Let me finish. What do you think is going to happen to the profits from that? Thank you. No, I just said.
I understand.
Okay, you're wasting happy.
No, I mean, this is why I'm giving you this opportunity to speak, because I feel something about what you said. So I'm going to actually, the next one, we should add more to what you said. Okay, the next thing is, are you saying that you and other Liberians could have raised international funding to finance the former Lamco project, which Mittal Steel is now funding?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me tell you.
But we're going to qualify that. I want to qualify making point.
No, let me
point. The reason why I asked this, I spent about 4 or 5 years in Korea, and I studied there. I found out that in South Korea, the late President Park worked with Korean businessmen to develop Korean ownership and local technological transfer through companies like Daewoo, Hyundai, Samsung, etc. as part of what he called the Semao movement. These were gentlemen, there was a gentleman understanding that they would eventually turn their stocks over to the public at the end. Okay, so that the average Korean could share in that ownership later. So his leadership was able to restore Korean ownership, first of what was needed to develop, and next to ensure the distribution of wealth to the common people by stock marketing system. Today, Korea has moved from a small, unknown country to the 9th or 10th economic power in the world. And they don't even have 1/100th of the wealth we have. So that's the premise I wanted to use.
And thank you for validating, but let me expound on that. It's important because we need to understand that we will continue to be poor because we're stupid. And I say that in a loving way like there is. There is something called a bankable feasibility for a project. It starts with an exploration that you get a license and you can raise money when you have an exploration license. Now, that license is an asset. If you find a piece of property 200 miles from here, and they give you the 1,000 square kilometers, which is your minimum concession block, and they say you have an exploration license, your fees, what they call the surface rental fee, are minimum, within $1,000, you can raise that working backwards. You now have something which is tangible, and you can start raising money internationally for exploration and validation to prove those resources. As you prove those resources in a bankable way and you bring up the value, you can now do what? Put together a prospectus and get an investment banker to do what? act as a sponsor on the international stock exchange to raise the money. That is done every day in Ghana. Project finance is done by capital market raising funds in Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria, believe it or not, is the most liquid of stock markets right now, even compared to Western stock markets. Dubai, Abu Dhabi, all of these stock markets in the world is awash in trillions of dollars of liquidity looking for a place. Let me tell you something to show you how crazy and stupid we are. The housing market crunch in the United States of America was caused by something called subprime. You know what subprime is? Subprime mortgage is a piece of paper that is not even a toilet tissue. People were given mortgages with no income, no job, nothing, and these loans were packaged and resold to international investment bankers like Merrill Lynch, and Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, all these people. But we have assets that are worth money. Now, when you have cash flow income from people, from borrowers who are paying, you can discount those cash flows or you can collateralize those cash flows. But there were no cash flows from these businesses, from these houses, because they were liar's loans that were made. Now, if these people have the ability to package loans, packages, mortgages that really have no value, and take them to international stock exchanges, international investment bankers, and get hundreds of billions of dollars, why can't we do that here when we have the value to prove? So what has happened now? The American government will do what? Subsidize the mortgage companies that took this thing, because a lot of those liars mortgages were what? FHA, that were what? Securitized or guaranteed by the US government. So Indy Mac crisis, Freddie Mac crisis, Merrill Lynch crisis, Bear Stearns crisis, and all of these crises will be subsidized. See, we have an opportunity to do some of the same things, but they know we won't do it, because you know what? The moment you started for the coma, they say, okay, sent us one day, what are you talking about? You ask a question, will we raise 1.5 billion? Of course we can raise 1.5 billion. If we put together a credible, special purpose vehicle, and we can outsource the management, meaning that we can get credible international management, people with the resume and CVs that they trust, we can pay them and outsource it. So we're using their name and their intellectual property to do what? To raise capital. And that can be done. But we continue on the old economic paradigm of giving resources to companies, they shipping it out, and they can't make finished goods at 10, 15 times the value. And that is a recipe to keep us in poverty for the rest of our lives.